You are listening to The Hayley Osborne Show with me, Hayley, your host. This is your place to learn how to become the superhero marketer in your business, to become the number one in your local community, both online and your surrounding areas. Every week, I'll be teaching you how you can achieve the best out of your marketing, your business, and be the most fearless superhero version of yourself. Small business owners are the backbone of the economy, and I'm here to demystify local area marketing to help you reach more customers. Between myself from South Australia and my wildly inspiring guests from across the world, I'm so excited to discuss all things marketing your business with you. I believe in you, so let's get started. I would love to invite you to a free masterclass I'm running next week. In exactly 1 week's time, on Tuesday the 20th of June at 10 a.m. Australian Central Standard Time, I would love to invite you to teach you the 3 best local area marketing strategies to increase sales. One of the most common questions I get asked is, what are the best local area marketing strategies to increase sales in my business, Hayley? So I'm going to run you through step by step my 3 best local area marketing strategies to increase sales in your business right now. I look forward to seeing you online and showing you all of the things my 3 best local area marketing strategies can do to increase sales in your business right now. Success in you being the superhero marketer in your business is on its way. Also, because I get asked this question a lot, it will be recorded. If you can't make it at the time, register anyway and you'll be sent the recording link afterwards. You can register at hayleyosborne.com. It is at the top. You cannot miss it. And PPS, the Superhero Marketing Membership opens next week. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. And I have the waitlist open for you right now if you want to join. If you join the waitlist now, you'll receive a bonus 60-minute one-on-one session with me after you join the membership to get you off to the right start. Have me, your marketing guru, in your pocket for 60 minutes to cover all your marketing aspects and have you off to a flying start. I become your trusted advisor, marketing BFF, and hold your hand every step of the way to make sure your marketing flourishes. Strap in, because it's going to be so much fun. And if you know me, I bring the energy hard. And the reason that I do this, and the reason it is such high energy for a week, for when the doors open to superhero marketing, is because that way you get to see the type of person that I am. You get to see my energy, and you also get a taste for my knowledge and my experience and what I actually can bring to the table for you. So it's just a taste of you getting to know what it's like to work with me, and a pretty good taste at that. So I look forward to joining you next week, and register for my masterclass, which is free, and it is in a week's time on the 20th of June, Tuesday at 10 a.m. I look forward to seeing you there. Hello, my beautiful friends, and welcome back to another episode of The Hayley Osborne Show. This is episode 70. I cannot believe we are 70 episodes in, and I'm really, really excited and happy to bring this episode to you. I have a guest today, and I'm so excited to welcome her in. My guest is none other than the amazing Vicky Trop. Now, if you don't know who she is, I am going to give you a little intro to her before we get started. She is an absolute powerhouse human being. Vicky Trop is a trusted thought leader and event brilliance advisor who has over 25 years experience of diverse experience in event management. With her expertise, Vicky makes event planning easy for her clients, supporting them to deliver professional and valuable events that deliver strategic results. Vicky has successfully executed events for reputable global brands such as Visa, Cisco, and TEDx. I'm chucking that in because she's really humble and she might not share that with us. And she's got massive accolades for her work. She is a powerhouse in this industry. She is your go-to in this industry. And she is here with me to share her knowledge, her skills, and her experiences with you to empower you to take your events to new heights and deliver with event brilliance in the process. Vicky is also one of my superhero marketing members, and I have worked with Vicky for a few years now, and I love her. So without further ado, welcome to this week's episode. Hello, Vicky, and welcome to the Hayley Osborne Show. I am really excited to have you on. I've been trying to get you on for ages, and you're finally here. Yay!
I know, yay. I'm super excited, Hayley. Thank you for having me, and thank you to your listeners for joining the podcast today.
Yay. So I had to press record because you and I could talk forever. But I've introduced you already, but I would love for you in your own words to tell everyone who you are and what you do.
Thank you, Hayley. Essentially, there's two parts of me. There's my event management and conference business eventful projects. And this is where each and every day I plan, manage, and deliver events for my clients. And the second part of me is my consulting business. And this is called Vicky Trop, obviously after myself. And this is where I make event planning easy for my clients, supporting you to deliver professional and valuable events that deliver strategic results. And you're going to be mentored on every aspect of your event, helping you seek the event brilliance your brand and business needs to engage your target audience, capture the hearts of many, connect to a strategic experience, and deliver critical results to hit your objectives. And the way we're going to do this is through my templates and toolkits, masterclasses, and coaching. It's going to equip you with the skills and the knowledge that you need to build brilliant events that deliver big results.
And I think that's real testament to you. So you've got two businesses, and one of them obviously is, you have some of the biggest clients in the world. And the other business, you've seen there's a gap in the market and you've ran with it and offer like consulting services. So why wouldn't you want to work with you if you're in events to learn how to work with huge clients and deliver like event brilliance? Because events are difficult, but you make them look easy.
Thank you, Hayley. They are difficult. And obviously, all of the work happens before the actual event starts. And the exciting part is that not everyone can afford to engage a PCO, which is a professional conference organizer, which is what I do in eventful projects. So giving myself as part of a coaching or a masterclass or providing you with my toolkits and resources is a low cost point, so that you can skill up and level up your events and still get big results from your event so that you can see a return on investment.
Yeah, and I think the pre of organizing any event can be really stressful, and I mean you've had years and years of experience in this, so I think it's a testament to you to package up all of that to offer it to someone who is fairly like green in the industry but wants to grow quickly. Like I think it's a no-brainer in terms of investing, because someone can come in and their trajectory can be quite quick with the tools that you have to offer.
Absolutely. And let's face it, putting on an event or hosting an event is not a cheap exercise. So
No.
making sure that you have a strategy around why you're hosting your event, who are you putting your event on for, like really understanding your customer and also the purpose of your event, and then how you put that together to give your audience maximum value. Put a CTA, so a call to action onto that will lead onto your return on investment. And too often I see clients just do events for the sake of it, spend big money and not necessarily get anything back. And this is the bit I guess I can help all of you with, is really coming back to basics. And I say the foundations, it's like building a house, getting those foundations really solid so then you can move away from your strategy and into the next steps, which are your framework and then delivering your event.
Yeah, because I mean, it's a lot of money, like you said, to invest to, if you don't do it right, to have a return on your investment of people coming through your business in some way, shape, or form. Like, as a brilliant marketer, like I think, for you, because you are brilliant at marketing your business,
Oh, thank
it's
you. With
it's
your help.
yeah, yeah. it's silly not to. Like, why wouldn't you want to capitalize on everything? And also, everything is like the eyeballs that you get at an event, right? When you're spending big money and you're doing it right, that is like gold to
Absolutely.
businesses. But if people don't know how to use it, then why was it crazy?
Yeah, absolutely. And also too, when you host an event, you never know, someone might bring someone that you weren't expecting or refer someone. And so then what happens is you've got people in the room that aren't necessarily ready for you or your product and your service right now. But when they come in and they kick the tires at one of your event, they meet you, meet your people, your organization, really start to align and connect with everything, then that's where the magic happens and you start to see the conversion. And I think the most important part of events is it's not a single-handed strategy. It works hand in hand with your marketing and communications plans. And I always say there has to be that tandem or that cohesive synergy between your marketing and your comms and your event. You can't just do an event with no marketing or communication strategy. There has to be a 12-month plan, and they'll work together throughout the year to support each other.
Yeah. So let's talk about Vicky Trop because that is your baby and that
That
is
is my
something
baby.
you're so proud of. So in terms of when it comes to putting yourself out there in your business, what would be your biggest aha moment? It,
Yes, there's a few
so
of them.
many.
There's a few of them, but I think the biggest thing is you don't become a really good event manager without being a perfectionist and high level of detail. And whilst this is really exciting and drives my success, it also does hinder me as a business owner. So the one thing that I guess my aha moment, particularly working with you, Hayley, is that just do it.
Yeah.
Done is better than perfect. And the consistency of showing up or doing something is a lot more important than having precise action. Now, I'm not referring to my work, for example, putting strategies and logistics in place. I need perfection there. But what I'm talking about is creating a social media post for myself, or perhaps doing an Instagram story where I don't have to invest a whole 2 days of planning for a story. Just get it done, do it, and put it up and just connect with the audience. So the biggest aha moments have certainly come in releasing control where it needs to be released.
Yeah. I know
And you
that's
can attest
huge.
to that.
I know, I know. I think we all suffer from that in some way, shape, or form, but it's how you train yourself to get over it. Because, these things have short lifespans in our marketing world of our, putting ourselves out there in our business. And people want real things. They want to see the real you. And more and more so, like as this year goes on, it's like, I want to see behind the scenes. I want that person to tell me a story. I want to know about their life. And it's all those things that you think might not be as important. That is actually what's important. That's what draws people in. It's how good a storyteller you are. And so, the polishing and having everything perfect, I find it's done. Like we want to see you make a few little mistakes and have a laugh at yourself and see that you're a real person and I can relate to that. And that makes me feel better about doing things and.
I think that's really valid, Hayley. And we all know, like, I wish I knew 10 years ago what I know today around how success in business comes is through relationships. And when you don't have your own business and you work for someone, you take advantage or take it for granted, I should say, the amount of access to people that you have. And if you don't build relationships and nurture them,
Yeah.
then they won't follow you around either to your next workplace or to your business. And I think showing up and using social media and those imperfections in today's world are how people can connect with you, and then you can start to build those relationships. So I think it's really important sometimes to not be perfect. Too many times I personally hear, oh, you wouldn't want to work with us, we're too small, or you wouldn't want to work with us because of XYZ. And sometimes when you have this image that you portray of perfection, people feel like you're not necessarily the right fit for them, which is absolutely not the case. It's the
I
opposite.
love this.
So
Yes.
I think sometimes showing people that essentially you're not a robot, that you are human and you have the same ups and downs as them, that they then become more comfortable with you. And the one thing owning my business is, and I'm proud of this, is that my clients end up becoming friends. And they're people that I could have a coffee with or go for lunch with or take the dog for a walk with. And that's really exciting because that means that this is no longer transactional. This is really all about relationships. So just because people don't use me all the time, and this is very normal, it doesn't mean they're not going to use me again. There's always going to be ebbs and flows in your business, and how customers transact with it. But being confident in those relationships that you build and then showing up on socials is going to help maintain. So if you don't have that daily contact with someone or monthly phone calls, where they get the dose of you and your business is through that social media interaction, whether it be stories or in your posting, marketing wise, in your EDM. So I feel like there are lots of ways in today's world people can still have access to you, but without you physically going and meeting them and them meeting you, because we're so time poor, aren't we? So
Yeah.
it's very exciting that the way that we can continue our connections has changed.
Yeah. I remember when I first started working with you and you were like, nobody wants to hear from me in their emails. I don't have a big enough list. I don't want to sit. And I was like, trust me, let's just get it started and get it flowing. And then you sent out your first regular email and bing, oh my God, where have you been? I want to work with you. And it's just like, good things happen when you start to create momentum and you put yourself, you cannot predict what's around the corner. And it shows that it works. It works.
Absolutely. I think the biggest lesson I've learned in that respect is that you never know where someone is in their buying process. So particularly people you know and even people you don't know. And Hayley, you taught me something that was someone will stalk you, will watch what you're doing for a long time before they engage with your profile. And then you'll notice some form of engagement, and it might be as small as a like or a really baby insignificant comment. And then what will happen is you'll get a conversion at a later point. And I guess this is the beauty about showing up either in your EDMs and your socials or across different methods and platforms, is that you're always there so that when people are ready, they know how to reach out to you easily.
Yeah. And I think it comes down to, yes, it comes down to being consistent. And you feel at times where you're like, why am I doing this? I'm getting nothing. I keep putting myself out there. I'm getting nothing. So what has to happen there is being strong in your mind and having a really good mindset. And that's something that I do within the membership is I bring in, a guest expert every month. And then usually every second month, it is somebody that teaches different parts and pieces of having a strong mindset, new level, different devil. And I'll say, I do invest time in LinkedIn and I put myself out there and I'm always sharing everything. And sometimes the uptake is a lot and sometimes it's not. And last week, somebody reached out to me through LinkedIn that I know from a previous, I met her at a conference. And she's the CEO of a big tech company, never engaged with anything that I put out there, but has said, I have been watching everything and love everything that you do. Now, if that's not proof that, strong mindset, stay consistent, it will come. I don't know what is. I'm trying to be living proof that this works. So back to you, in terms of your marketing, what is the number one thing? What are you most proud of when it comes to your marketing?
Wow. I got to say, it's the showing up regularly. And even yesterday, it was nice. I got an email. I used to lecture at TAFE University. Well, when it became too much, I obviously had to choose between that and my business. But they've asked me to come back again to teach. And It was nice at the bottom of the email. They made a mention of love following you on your social media, love seeing what
Boom.
you're up to. And it's really exciting because people obviously are enjoying the content and the authenticity of it all, which is great because I'm very much about being authentic and trying to show the real me for what it is. But I've heard this now time and time again since I started showing up on socials, and particularly when I'm more present on stories, is that, oh, I love following you every day, or I love seeing what the Coffee, my cavoodle, so she's called Coffee the cavoodle, I love seeing Coffee on your stories. So it's really interesting when you think no one's paying attention or this isn't working. You've got to remember that Instagram isn't necessarily going to translate into a dollar value. You have to look at it like sponsorship when I talk about events.
I love
Sponsorship
this.
sometimes is where you get in at a low cost and you just want your branding everywhere because it would be cheaper than advertising. And so you've got to look at Instagram as the same. This is like your low level branding exposure exercise. It's free. And what you're doing is you're literally just putting yourself out on other people's feed, in their vision, in their world, so that they can get a dose of you and your business at no risk and for free.
Yeah.
And so you've got to remind yourself when you think, oh, it's not worth it, I'm too exhausted, I can't do a story today, I don't have the space for it. You've got to remind yourself, actually, I do have to do this because this is my brand exposure. This is part of my marketing plan and I have to do it. And I think it's okay to take a break. You just can't take a long break. And we've spoken about this, Hayley, where consistency is key. And showing up all day, every day on people's stories feed will give you that brand exposure and help people to connect with you so that it will convert into sales. So that would probably be my proudest moment. The other one would be relaxing my standards because it's not
Yes.
easy to do as a perfectionist.
As a
But the
perfectionist
biggest
that you are. Yes.
yeah, but the biggest thing I've noticed working with you, and I'm going to attribute this solely to you, is
Oh,
my tone of voice or my tone of writing, my copy has changed. And it could be because I was so business focused before and I had more of a legal mind where things were very exact.
yep.
With now my writing style and my content is very different and it's more conversational. So I really think, and I know, so I don't think, I know this has come from you directly because if I look back, it comes back from when we did my marketing and my social strategy and looking at copy. And I've taken inspiration from the way you work and I've now developed a way that's a lot easier for me to write copy. And I think it's a lot easier for my audience to digest, you know?
Oh, absolutely. I say this a lot is that when you can articulate really easily like what you do, then your audience can understand it as well and understand you and can get on the same page as you, right? When you can write like you talk and it is so, think about when you're trying to at a barbecue and you're trying to explain, oh, but I do this and I do that and I do that. And it's like, hang on a minute. I'm so confused right now. I need to go back to basics. I need to reassess what that is. And that will make the journey for a potential customer a lot quicker for you because they can relate to you very easily. And writing like you talk is then they relate to you if they want to work with you one-on-one. If you're going to be their go-to to help them elevate their event, they're going to need to get on the same level as you. So essentially, someone looks at your website because 99% of people will Google you before they pick up the phone. They get Vicky. They look at your socials, they get Vicky. They look at your stories, they get Vicky. They want to work with you. And then they meet you and you are their event brilliance advisor. They get Vicky. They get the same person that is so smart and clever at what they do. And that's what they want. So there's no disconnect. It's the same as, now you are showing up a lot easier because you're connected with the rest of your brand. And that
Correct.
has a ripple effect over to your customers.
Yeah, and I think this is super important, and I'm happy to share this. Is originally I had someone write the copy for my website and my branding, and they weren't aligned to who I was as an individual, where I was going, and I wasn't then connected with my business and my brand. And until I met you, I really felt that it was a struggle to write copy or to explain to people who I am and what I do. Once we revisited all of that, it became a lot easier. And don't get me wrong, over time things evolve. Everyone's
Yes.
business view and you have to adapt, and that's critical. And as a small business owner, being agile is the most exciting part. And I think that's how I often sell myself to clients, is that I'm a lot more agile than you and your organization. Give me something and I will make it happen. That's
Yeah.
the beauty of being a small business, right? But I think that when we look at the agility, and sorry, I've gone off topic. I've
No,
forgotten
no,
what
no.
that.
It's like now I think you're definitely not. You're on right on there. And you now your website, now the words on your website and the words that come out your mouth, you relate through and through. That's your business through and through. And there's a huge connection there. And that shines with your clients too. You should be really proud.
Yeah, I'm proud of the authenticity. What I like about who I am and my business is I often say we're one in the same. And I guess after so many years, my business is me and I'm my business. And this is why people want to work with me and don't want to work with others. And I'm really proud that a lot of my business comes from referral, or it comes through Google after someone picks up the phone and talks to me, because the feedback I often get once they've committed as a client is that I just liked talking to you and I
Yeah.
felt like I connected. And if we're going to work for a long period of time, it's important that I like the person I'm working with and that they can deliver the results.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good lesson that every business owner should take on board is get it right, show up as you, because you can only fake ass it and to a certain point, right? And
Mm.
then and that will hamper you in the long run. So do some internal work. And I learned this and I've said this a few times now, but stay in your lane. There's
Mm.
nobody in that lane, right? Competitor analysis is great. You need to know who's out there that does what you do, but no one can ever be you. So
No.
hone in what that looks like. Stay in your lane and smash it out the ballpark, because your customers will really appreciate that. So on to the next question. This is a really great segue. Is what's the one thing that you wish you'd done sooner?
Oh, this is super easy. And I'm not saying this because I'm on your podcast. I'm legitimately saying this because as a business owner, sometimes it's really hard when you're in the forest and you look around and all you see are massive trees. You then to make this huge decision to outsource components of your business or to seek help in building a certain part of your business, and it doesn't work out. And it's not a great experience. It's happened to me a few times, but with transitioning and building Vicky Trop, my consulting part of the business, I did this and I paid big dollars for a branding expert to come up with strategy and copy and build my business for me, because essentially I was in the forest and I needed someone who had this in their zone of genius. And at the time, it wasn't mine. And I totally accept that the universe gave this gift to me, because at the time it was not. At the time, I was really upset about it. But when I look back, it really was a gift and a learning experience, because what it did is it helped me identify that you need to be really scrupulous around who you're working with and
Yeah.
don't trust recommendations off face value. Like, really interview suppliers. I'm quite trusting. So I just went, oh, this person said that they would be really good, so I'll engage this person to help me. They talk the talk and couldn't walk it. So then when I met with you, Hayley, and we had a few one-on-one sessions, I had a good vibe straight away. But I know that I was on a winner when I think when we started working one-on-one together as private coaching, and I had to do a coaching call at my parents' house one day, and Mum was in the background doing something with the dog. And when we finished our session,
Yeah.
my mum goes, this girl, she really knows her stuff. She's making a lot of sense. She's good for you. I knew definitely I was on a winner, but I knew before then because I felt like we were very much the same and we could converse. And I felt like you were just clicked in to my business and what I was trying to convey. And look, it's never easy for someone to write copy. It's really hard when it's not your business or you're not 100% across the intel or the message that needs to come across. But you did such a good job, and then to take it one step further and look at the marketing strategy and the social media strategy, and then we worked together to put a lot of pieces in play. All of that moved so much faster and cheaper than what I did
Oh,
with
I
this
know.
other person. That I guess that's the one thing I regret is spending the money, but I don't regret the experience, if that makes sense. And the one thing that I had wish I'd done sooner was meet you. And that I couldn't change that because the
Thank
universe
you.
obviously had a plan in place for both of us. We were doing what we needed to do at that time before we met. But I'm really grateful for that. And I feel that my
Oh,
business would be where it is today if it wasn't with your input and your mentoring and coaching.
thank you. I'm gonna get a tissue now. No tears on the podcast. Okay, so we've worked together extensively. I have absolutely been in awe and loved watching you grow and transform. And even from the beginning, I had these like big visions for you of just like walking into an event, or as you are going to a beautiful lunch, or as you're going to walk in to deliver something one-on-one with your private clients, is you just showcasing the whole journey, because that's what people want to see. And now you're like, I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm so nervous. And now you're like, who is this girl? Who is this woman? Just like owning her stuff and her space. And I'm so proud of, number one, how far you've come. But I love watching you. I love watching you shine. I love watching you. You literally did everything I said for you to do. And the results are incredible. I'm this is a proud moment.
Yeah, proud mum moment.
Proud
It's
moment.
it's so funny, and maybe I'm the ideal client because event managers are so prescriptive. Like we receive instructions, and our
Do
job
it.
is to make sure that we convert those instructions to the best possible outcome. And I'm very prescriptive like that. So I don't know if you noticed when we'd have our coaching, like I would write notes and notes, and then at the end I'd be like, okay, step one, step two, step three,
Yeah.
step four, and then we would meet again, and Hattie's like, okay, so what have you done? I'm like, okay, I did all the things.
Yeah, I
That was
know.
important. That was important for me because, and again, I guess you're driven by what you want to achieve, right? So, and this is part of being a coach or a mentor is you can take the horse to the river, you can't make it drink. And part of that success from our clients comes from our motivation and from the way that we coach and mentor and show the skills and the steps on how to do that, but also encourage to take action and to stay in action because that's where the success comes from. And that's, I guess, the most important part of that process. So yeah, it's really exciting. I mean, before I'd get on an event and not even think about taking a quick video of setup or whatever. Now I'm like, where's my phone? I need to quickly do a video. And then I was on site with an event the other day and I just didn't have time. And I was so devastated. I actually felt like I'd let myself down because I couldn't do a story. And look, sometimes you can't always do things when you want to do them. Like you can't stop the universe from unfolding. And I'm going to talk event talk, but when we're bumping in, which is our setup, this event had a 1 hour turnaround time from the event before. The venue's trying to undress the venue from that event. We're trying to set up, they're trying to set up for us. There's so much going on, sound checks, audio, visual, entertainment. It was chaotic. And I understand that I couldn't, but I really did feel like I really wanted to show that. And, where there's a
Yeah.
will, there's a way. I should have set up a second phone on a stand to just time lapse it all. But
Yeah. But next time though, like live and learn, but it's okay, like not to punish yourself for missing out, but keep in the back of your mind, and I've said this to you before, is everything is content at
yes,
some
that's
point or another. But you know what? Like this is life. Sometimes there's like ways to make it work. Sometimes there's not. Like I was saying to you before, we started recording, I'm gonna run a workshop next month, an in-person workshop, and I did a site visit yesterday. I had my little guy with me. I could not get my phone out, and trying to like navigate him and also talk to the owner of the business whose space we're going to use. It's like your brain's thinking about already too much, and I didn't have time to do. And I got in the car and I was like, damn it, I missed that opportunity. But I was like, okay, well, that's okay. There'll be another opportunity. I'll get something different and it'll be okay. So it's about like, kind of, and that's where the mindset comes in, is not getting down on yourself, not just rising above and moving through it instead of like fearing it, I guess.
Yes, I've been listening to this podcast, the Mindset Mentor,
Yeah.
Rob Dial. I've been getting into him lately, and he has some really good tactics. But he's like, just sometimes you have to acknowledge the moment, release the frustration, release the control, but find the learning. So you're like,
Yes.
I couldn't do that on this occasion, but where's my gratitude here? You know what? Maybe I could do a story and explain to people. So paint the story and also explain, hey, I'm human. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't fit it in. And you know what? Wouldn't you prefer me to be focused on your event than taking stories?
I know.
And this is why you should work with me. But also, that's your content, right? So we were talking before about everything is content. So listening to that podcast and focusing a lot more on mindset and trying to find the gratitude, because I read this thing the other day that said if your mind is busy on gratitude, it can't also be busy on the negative
Yeah.
and being,
Wow.
and being like cranky pants. And so I really, that resonated with me, because I thought the amount of energy you can spend getting caught up on something that doesn't sit well with you. And let's face it, in events that can happen a lot. And at the moment, for me, it's happening daily. But to stop yourself and go, hang on a minute, let's find the gratitude here. And then even going one step further and just writing down, I like to keep a list of like a content bank and just writing down, you know what, I can talk about this on a story when it's appropriate. Too soon now, one of my clients might recognize that it relates to them or what have you. And then down the track, you can bring it up, because the chances are that if it's affecting you or it's affecting one of your clients, it's affecting your audience. And so it can be turned in. So, I think, again, it very much comes, events, marketing and communication and content really do come hand in hand and work together.
And yeah, I think that by you sharing all those things, it's adding value to someone else's life and making them, realize, oh, okay, well, she's going through that too, or that's good to know. I don't feel so bad. And you might just help somebody get through their day, which is really important. So I wanted to ask you, why did you invest in superhero marketing?
Yes, a few reasons. Very good question. For me personally, I wanted to be in the room with other people.
Yeah.
And I think as a small business owner, for me now, I'm working from home. I only see people out at meetings or when we're on site with events. So it's really critical for me to be in the room with similar minded people who are looking to move themselves forward. So that was quite important for me to find a group.
Community.
And yeah, and also a group leader. So it's all good to be in a community, but if there's not a community leader or a group leader, someone like you, Hayley, that brings it all together and
Structure.
delivers messaging and content, the community doesn't work. Like, we always need some structure. So for me, I was excited that I already knew you from private coaching. So I knew that content was going to be delivered. I knew that I was going to get new skills, new knowledge that is going to work. And from the work we've done before, I had trust that you would build a community that would be right for all of your clients. So for
Yeah.
me, that was a big thing. The other couple of reasons I wanted to join Superhero Marketing was because of reconnecting with my business. So really having the ability to take what we learn and the content that comes from our weekly, monthly calls, masterclasses, the experts, the Q&As, and apply them in my business. So it's giving you opportunity in amongst all the noise to stop and be on the business rather than in it.
Oh, absolutely.
And I really wanted to, and I still do continually want to level up. And I feel that social and marketing not only helps me as an individual and my business, but in turn, it helps my clients, both my consulting clients and my Eventful Projects clients. They all benefit from the skills and the knowledge that I pick up from you, from the class, from the course content, from the community, and I can bring that all to the table for my clients. And the biggest thing was reaching my audience, growing my audience, getting engagement. And what we all want is a level of conversion. And we know that that will then be sales, which turns into revenue. But I think you have to be realistic with your expectations around this. But conversion could mean a lot of things, not just dollar value.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think you have to be, you have to realize as well that it's a marathon, not a sprint all the
Yes.
time.
Yeah. And we
Just
spoke
keep
a lot.
going. You need to do all the things.
Yeah, and we spoke
Yeah.
a lot, particularly during my one-on-one coaching around process. And there's a way, like people will, like I said, they'll stalk you on the socials, they'll watch, they'll build their confidence, connect with you. Then they might start jumping in on a podcast, or they might get a free download. And then from them, they'll move up the ascension model. And that's the part I think you need to understand is it's not a put a post out, yes, I'm engaged and I'm going to buy today. It's all about that proving. I call it credibility and validity. So I've always say that you've got to prove yourself to people. People need to validate who I am and what I do. And that is what my social media is for. And that's personally how I treat my social media. And it might be very different to someone else, and that's okay. And we spoke briefly about stay in your lane. And I personally don't worry about what other people are doing. People often bring it to my doorstep and then I get quite worked up over it and then I've got to release it because I've always been from day one, I don't care what other people are doing. They're not me and I don't need to do what they're doing because my wants, needs, and success model is different. And the fact that people feel like they have to copycat everyone else is not doing themselves justice. So I think it's really important to make sure you do stay in your lane and your social media supports that. That's a critical part, that your strategy and socials and marketing supports the lane that you're in. And again, that authenticity, if you stay true to yourself and your business and your clients, you're not going to have a problem of being all over the place and confusing your target audience and diluting that market. They're going to be very clear on who you are as an individual, on a business, and what you can do for them.
Yeah. I love what you said earlier as well about when you are creating and putting together content, it's, excuse me, you make a note and you keep all those notes. And then when you're ready to have time to work on the business, you have all those inspiration points as reference to go back to. That's such a clever way to build out, like, staying, consistent in your business. It's like you're not always inspired. So it's nice to like have those notes in there to, go back to remind you to when you are inspired and you do have that thought leadership. You can stay consistent. You can, continue to appear. I think that's really clever.
Yeah. And I think to take inspiration from questions you're frequently asked. So if you're pitching or you're quoting or you're talking to someone or you find that you get the same questions, I call them the FAQs, write them down, because if one or two people are asking you, most people are interested, or if you feel that a lot of your clients are struggling with something or need something in particular, this could be a great content gap. So I often just, like I said, keep that list of, the other day we were talking with clients and we were having this discussion around beverage package or on consumption. For me, it's an easy decision, but for them, they really struggled with it. So I decided to write a post around how you can make that decision and did an EDM around it as well. And hopefully that it helps someone to help make those decisions, or perhaps it's around productivity and how you can prioritize your time and your tasks and do the things you need to do and leave the other things aside. So I think taking inspiration sometimes from your daily work, and this is why I love having my event management business, because it keeps me current in my skill set, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I can take that and apply what I do every day into the workplace of those clients that I coach and mentor. Because if I only did the coaching, I would be stagnant because I now wouldn't really have my hand in the pie for events.
Oh,
And so
how? Yeah.
it's balance, right? And this is the problem I found with lecturing, is that in the state that I live in, I'm the only industry working I was the only industry working lecturer on the faculty. So everyone else was a full-time teacher and were no longer in industry. They were active in industry. They still had engagement with industry, but they were not physically working every day doing what we do. And that's a really important part, I think, of keeping current. So having that currency and bringing it to your clients so that they have the best assets to propel them forward. Because at the end of the day, as coaches and mentors, we win when our clients win.
Oh,
How good
yeah.
to see how good is it to see people really succeed in something that you've taught them or mentored them through? And it might be something big or something small, but irrespective of the size, it's that I helped you do that moment. It's amazing. And I feel the same way when I deliver an event. The best part for me is standing back at some point in time and going, I created this with my client. Like the client gave me the instructions, but I put all this together and I'm watching people enjoy it and engage with it and interact and people giving me feedback. That's the best part. And so with the coaching and the mentoring, we only win when our clients win
I love it.
because
Yeah,
they're only as good as us.
I agree. I completely agree. So where do you see Vicky Trop in 5 years? Where do you see your business in 5 years? Let's talk Vicky Trop.
Yeah, this is a really interesting question because obviously anything can happen between now and 5 years, and I tend to evolve quickly over time. So again, don't hold me to this in 5 years if we do a review, but I certainly want to realign my focus and look closely at starting a podcast. I think that would be really exciting.
I will
And
actually hold you to that. Sorry. I
yeah,
am. And
that
it's
I
not going to
think I
be
can help
5 years. It's going to be soon. That will be
It'll
starting
be
soon.
Yeah, because I think, there's over the years, I've been doing what I do for 25 plus years, and there are a lot of stories, good and bad, and funny and interesting. And I've worked, as you mentioned, with a lot of big names globally. I've worked overseas a lot.
Let's
So
just say those names just so that we can have some perspective here. Visa,
sure. So
Cisco.
um, the list is nice. I've delivered events for the chairman and the president of Visa credit cards worldwide. So
Yes.
as board of directors, I have worked on Cisco's flagship event, which is Cisco Live. A lot of pharmaceutical companies like Merck, Serono, Pfizer. A lot of these companies we know now, thanks to
Pfizer.
COVID. AstraZeneca, Bayer, all these
Basically,
names.
Vicky is the
Yeah,
shiz of the shiz in this industry,
yeah.
guys. I'm going to use that as like the
Thanks,
introduction.
Joey. The shiz of the shiz. I love
We're
it.
talking like about this at the end of the podcast, but that is perspective. This is what we are like dealing with. We're
Yeah, and I
listening
think
to you. You're an expert.
yeah, and the beauty of I think what I give to my clients is I take what would be high paid intel and bring it at a reasonable rate, an affordable rate, and in a way that people, small businesses, people who work in organizations can afford and access it and use it. So the biggest thing is I've lived it. I've been in crisis. I've been in countries where I've had threat to life. I've been in countries where I've had heart attacks. I say I've had everything, fingers crossed, except a baby. I've had heart attacks. I've had
Oh
medevacs
my
off
God.
islands. I've had
I would
all
not
sorts
wish
of
that
things.
upon you.
And, these are the things when it comes to crisis management and project management and managing people and venues, and like
That's
it's
what
all,
you need to know as
it's all
as an
skill
event.
set.
Yep.
And it's a bit like that Telstra commercial that was going around, and it said, you don't realize that you need us until you need us. And it was about their coverage and when you're
Yes.
in a regional area. And it's a bit like me and what I do. You don't realize that you need a professional to help you plan, manage, and deliver your events until something goes wrong. And then that's where you see the value. So if you engage, upskill, engage with me, get the learnings, then when the crisis hits, and I can certainly help people if I'm not involved before crisis, but when the crisis hits, we're already in momentum, so we can sit back and go, okay, where are we at? What do we do? What are our next steps? How do we communicate? How do we mitigate all of this? And these are I guess the assets or the strengths of having someone who has currency in industry as well.
Yeah, I love
So
that.
anyway, answering your question, Hayley, the podcast. So as we all know, just what we talked about, the podcast could be quite eventful.
I
The other
can't
thing,
wait for this.
the other
Yes.
thing that I would love to bring to you all will be an e-course. And I feel like I love sharing my knowledge and my skills, and I would love this to be and live rather than a pre-recorded thing. And again, this just comes back to my personal values is I love to connect with humans, and I get my joy from making sure that you get value from what I give you. And I can't do that if it's a pre-recorded class.
Yep.
So I really want to put together an e-course that I find I'm happy with and that my audience would be happy with and people would pay for. Obviously, I'm an event manager. I love events, but I even more so love incentive retreats. So it would be great to create a retreat for people to come into and be in a relaxed environment. And this is where events are really successful, particularly when it comes to educating and removing people and from their organization or from their usual location, put them somewhere new so that they can open up creativity, different perspective. Perhaps organizations want change. So it would be great to bring to my audience a retreat where they can remove themselves from their everyday life, get into a environment where it's a doing couple of days, a doing day where we come in and we attack these key areas. Let's plan your strategy for your events. Let's put a framework in place so that you can walk away and put your event together.
I love
That would be
this.
really exciting.
I love
And
this. They're short
if
term. That's not
I
5 years.
know,
That's like
right?
the next 6 months.
Yeah, and if you haven't already worked out, I love talking, and so it would be really great to level, or not level up, but just up my speaking game. I've done a little bit of speaking
Yeah.
where I share my skill set and my knowledge and my experiences. And the way I do my presentations is quite unique to me. And again, it's the teacher in me. I want to make sure that people walk away with value. And also I like to make sure that people walk away with tactical information that they can apply into their work life or their business immediately. So for me, I would love to up that game and get out and help more people on a broader scale.
Well, I don't think that those things are like too far out of your reach, if I'm being honest. I love watching your journey. I have loved being your pillar of support. I've loved helping you, and I will continue to love watching you shine. Vicky, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. Before we wrap up, I'd love you to tell our listeners where they can connect with you online and learn more.
Sure. So very easy. My social media handles are at Eventful Projects and at Vicky Trop, and eventfulprojects.com.au or vickytrop.co for the website. And I'm always happy to connect with people. You can book a coffee chat. You can reach out for a DM, have a call. You can even get a coffee cuddle if you live in the same state as Coffee the Cavoodle and I. We're more than happy to meet real people. But please do follow, like, and share everything Eventful Projects and Vicky Trop has to offer.
Thanks, Vicky.
Thank you, Hayley.
I hope you've enjoyed listening to this episode. If you have, hit subscribe so you don't miss any new episodes released every Tuesday. And while you're there, leave me a review. I would absolutely love to read it. Also, don't forget to tag me at Hayley K Osborne, HayleyK OSBORNE over on Instagram, and share this podcast with your audience so they can get learning too. If you want more, head over to hayleyosborne.com.au/podcast for today's show notes and links. I've also got an awesome free ebook, a new one, waiting for you on my website, The 10 Essentials Every Local Area Marketing Plan Needs. And I will catch you next week for another episode of The Hayley Osborne Show.